Exercise B, Meaning from Context, page 44.
High fashion modeling. High fashion models' body types differ from those of random people on the street. Designers have long had a distinct preference for tall and thin models. However, images of very thin models in fashion shows and magazines can be alarming. Some models have a height-to-weight ratio that is unhealthy. For example, a model might be around 175 centimeters tall, but weigh only 50 kilos. Fortunately, the fashion business is evolving. Businesses no longer exclusively hire the thinnest of models. Healthy-looking models now appear at fashion shows too. In some countries, there are even laws against hiring excessively thin models. Today, designers envision their clothes on various body types. This is reflected in the models they choose. As a result, people are beginning to perceive models differently. On top of that, their idea of what constitutes beauty is starting to change.
Listening. Perceptions of beauty. Exercise B, Main ideas, and Exercise C, Details, pages 46 to 47.
What is beauty? You often hear, beauty is only skin deep. In other words, someone can be beautiful on the outside, but not on the inside. Another saying is, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. That is to say, each person's idea of beauty is different. But do people really perceive beauty in different ways? Or do society and culture influence our ideas about beauty? Here's a report on this interesting question from our science reporter.
It's said that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. However, this does not seem to be true. What I mean by that is people within a culture usually have similar ideas about beauty, which implies that it is not entirely personal. Studies on beauty confirm this. Judith Langlois is a professor of psychology at the University of Texas. She says that most people think average-looking faces are beautiful. Her research showed that a beautiful face is well-balanced. To put it another way, if the two sides of a face are highly similar to each other, we consider that face beautiful. More recent research was conducted by psychologists Pamela M. Pallett, Stephen Link, and Kang Lee. They studied the relationship between different parts of the face. In their experiments, they asked university students to compare images of 12 faces. Each face was the same person. However, the distance between the eyes and mouth was changed slightly. The researchers discovered a golden ratio, the ideal distance between the eyes, the mouth, and the edge of the face. Faces were judged most beautiful when the distance between the eyes and the mouth was 36% of the length of the face, the average ratio for humans. Victor Johnston and David Parrott have studied the role of beauty in physical attraction. They found that men prefer women with large eyes, full lips, and a small nose and chin. This description certainly applies to many popular models and actors today. This preference for big eyes and full lips is not random. According to anthropologist Don Simons, men are attracted to healthy-looking women. The brain tells men that certain characteristics, including those Johnston and Parrott highlight, are signs of health and the ability to produce healthy babies. It's an instinct that has evolved over 100,000 years, Simons believes. Has social media changed perceptions of beauty? Psychologist Helen Egger says not really. She studied the trend of using filters on social media. Filters allow users to change their looks in pictures and videos. She found that women usually give themselves larger eyes, a smaller nose, and fuller lips. This look is called the Instagram face. It's a new standard of beauty that many social media users follow, but it's actually no different from the standard found by Johnston and Parrott, as well as Simons. So even though social media places an excessive amount of importance on beauty and perfection, this very specific idea of beauty, though perhaps alarming, is not new. However, anthropologists point out that there is more than one standard idea of beauty. Different ethnic groups have different ideas about what constitutes beauty. For example, the Maya people of Central America thought crossed eyes were beautiful. Maya parents would hang objects, such as stones, in front of their babies' eyes so they would develop this trait. A number of African tribes think scars are beautiful. However, the types of scars differ among tribes and between men and women. If you ask a Maori person from New Zealand to envision a beautiful face, it might be one with blue lips. For the Maori, a woman is considered beautiful with blue tattooed lips. These tattoos are called moko. They're part of an ancient tattooing tradition. Maori men also get extensive facial tattoos. It does appear, therefore, that the old saying isn't quite correct. Beauty does not lie in the eye of the beholder. Well, at least not exclusively. Certain aspects of beauty seem to be universal. In addition, people from the same culture see beauty in similar ways. However, there are many distinct variations and many different standards of beauty around the world.
Exercise A, page 48.
The growing popularity of cosmetic surgery. If you think the risks of cosmetic surgery are alarming, there's good news. Cosmetic procedures are evolving. Many are not particularly dangerous, and some are quite safe. You may be able to get the new look you envision with non-surgical procedures, such as fillers to help remove lines and laser treatments to remove age spots or scars, which constitute 68% of cosmetic procedures in the United States. Once exclusively for the rich and famous, cosmetic procedures are being chosen by more people every year. There is a distinct difference in the way people in different cultures perceive beauty, but cosmetic surgery is a common choice in many parts of the world. The graph Top Markets for Cosmetic Procedures compares the total number of procedures per capita in 14 countries and the ratio of surgical to non-surgical procedures.
Exercise D, page 49. 1.
You often hear, beauty is only skin deep. In other words, someone can be beautiful on the outside, but not on the inside.
2.
Another saying is, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. That is to say, each person's idea of beauty is different.
3.
Her research showed that a beautiful face is well balanced. To put it another way, if the two sides of a face are highly similar to each other, we consider that face beautiful.